What's going on, world? I'm back with another one. TV live. Shout out to everybody tonight here that will be coming through. Got another great brother here with me. I'm really excited to do this interview, y'all. I really think it's gonna be a fire interview. Y'all really gonna get to know his hometown, his city. Just gonna go in depth about the brother, you know. I feel like my brother be flying kind of low under the radar. Definitely gonna get excited to do this interview. DS1 Ross Alliance, DS1 Alliance, that is. Everybody who continuously show me support, and this is very much appreciated. Me, DSAlliance1 at gmail.com. Alliance1 at gmail.com. Be interviewed if you want to promote your businesses. Give me an interview and we could set it up, man. But tonight, brother Rob with me. It'll be a great interview, man. So tune for this. Y'all tune in. Y'all like this. And so what's going on, brother Rob? How you tonight, bro?
Man, I'm good, brother. I'm peace, man. How you feeling tonight, man?
Feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm excited to do this interview, man.
Man, I'm humble, brother, and you know, like always, man, I'm always be honest, and you know, I'm gonna tell the people what I know, and I'm definitely not trying to promote myself. You know, I just like to be honest, and I mean, at any rate, you know, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man first. You know what I'm saying? I consider myself a regular person. You know what I'm saying? And I just try to do the little things well. You know what I mean? So, you know, that being said, you know, you can fire away, and I'm gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna be.
No doubt, man. So you know, tell the people about yourself. You know, what do you do professionally? Um, and what brought you to YouTube?
No doubt, no doubt. So, you know, I do professionally at a high school downtown Chicago. The high school is called Innovations, and there I work with young people between the ages of 16 to 21, and primarily what we do there is students that have been kicked out, pushed out, whatever have you, at their last high school, whether that's a neighborhood high school or whatever, they can still come to my school and get their authentic diploma. It's not a GED program. You know, they get a high school diploma. But you can imagine that I have some challenges working with that population because they've already shown that they don't really have a desire to get an education or things of that nature. So sometimes it's court appointed, you know, then sometimes kids feel enemies at the school that they was going to, so they come down there. Or you know, sometimes a young lady, she got pregnant, you know, while she was in school, missed too many days in her high school, her neighborhood high school, or what have you, you know, kicked out. So that being said, although it is an alternative high school, you know, it's a negative connotation associated with alternative high schools. You know, these kids got stories, they real deal people um, and they just need some support. So of course, I'm making it sound uh, a lot simpler than what it is. I mean, what it is. I mean, that's a difficult situation that I deal with. It's a lot of stress, and so what I try to do is just be civil in all my interactions and model the behavior that I'm expecting for them to have um, when they get close to graduation. And then from there, I give them, what I know about African history and share with them, some of the teachings of our master teachers. And I pretty much stick with the master teachers. I try not to share my opinion, like I say all the time to my students that my opinion can't really help you. Is show them that it is some people who have done the research. They have dedicated their lives to telling our story. And if you don't know your story, you don't know your glory, you know. And so from there, once they have found their story and I've directed them, I have motivated them to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. It's a lot of potential, that they show and they get out here in the world. And I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And, the work is very, very rewarding, at the end. But, over the course of 10 months, like I said, it's very, very, very stressful, you know. And, to answer the second part of the question, what brought me to YouTube? Um, I was literally doing some research what Dr. John Henry Clark had to say on the subject. And when I did the search, it was some people from Sonetta TV that was talking about John Henry Clark. And from there, from his platform, a couple of people in the chat, I start following their platforms. And, lo and behold, now I'm, I would say, entrenched in, you know, and and I can see the benefits of us being able to talk together and network together. But then, of course, I see the downfalls with some of the things that hold our people back. Disunity and self-hatred and things of that nature that play out on a large scale on YouTube. And what really got me to talking on these platforms is back last year around this time, because I'm, kind of fake new to YouTube. Only been on here for about a year. Forward to the debate, SETI and the Amara Squad. Uh, the model netta has the model netta been translated, and man, from there, it just had my attention, and I've been on YouTube ever since. But I was, that's what kind of brought me to YouTube. I was doing some research. Next thing I know, now I'm on platforms, and and I mean, it's been a great experience. I got to meet you. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a great experience. To me, of course, I got some people that don't like me. I just tell them, get in line. There's plenty of people that don't like me. I'm not running a popularity contest, no way. So there it is.
Oh man, so downtown Chicago. um, Give us a glimpse on the youth in Chicago. Like, what is the temperament like, and do you feel they contribute to the types that's in the media about Chicago?
Yeah. To kind of give you an idea, so for people who don't know, I, born and raised south side of Chicago. I grew up off of 79th Street, 079. Um, and I grew up in I was gang banging like everybody else. And you know, at the time when I was gang banging, it wasn't no outcry and, you know, the president talking about Chicago a shithole and all that, it wasn't all of that. People was not reaching for us. They was literally trying to put us in jail. Uh, and what I did, I lost a lot of friends, in one summer. I would say, let's just say that I lost too many people in one summer, right? And, one of those losses was very, very great. It was, one of my guys, his name was Arthur, but we all called him Trigger. And when Trigger got killed, that just kind of opened my eyes to see like how fragile life is, you know. And, I was a junior in high school at the time. And at that point, I decided to kind of drop my flag and, you know, just be a regular old dude, you know what I mean? And I was hooping at the time, so I got the hooper pass. I was kind of able to move around in the city and, and not get, messed with like everywhere I went. Oh, yeah, he a hooper, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he from 79th, you know what I'm saying? But he a hooper, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of got the hooper pass, but, at the same time, I was gang banging and everybody knew what it was with me, But, yeah, after Trigger got killed, dropped my flag, and I see how foolish it was, and to talk about the shorties today, and how I work with them. Let me just first say that the school downtown Chicago, because we can't be in the neighborhood. You have to understand, like if the school was on 43rd somewhere, you know what I mean? And it's all BDs where the school at. Where anybody that ain't BD can't come to the school. You see what I'm saying? So we pay a pretty penny to be in downtown Chicago, And then it's way safer for students from any side of the city to go downtown, right? What's their temperament? They don't value the things that they supposed to value. Their priorities are all over the place, and that's because nobody has taught them. Let's think about what influenced them. Movies, fashion, things of this nature. These are all very powerful influences, right? So here I come with the, hey, don't you know Farrakhan from Chicago too? You know what I mean? Don't you know Dr. Walter Williams, he from Chicago too? Here, let me tell you what they be talking about, right? I'm sure these don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been fed this propaganda so strong to where now their life is, orbiting around that propaganda. You know what I mean? That's why they can, have a $300 belt, but they don't have no heat at the crib. You know what I'm saying? That's why they can walk around, how they mind back, with every little dime they got, they gonna go and, buy some pills or buy 3-5 or something, smoke some weed or something, right? But they ain't got bus fare to get back and forth to school. You see, priorities all over the place. And so because of that, that's what makes my job that much harder. I might make 50 calls home. I'm gonna talk to 2 parents that got some sense. You see? And so because of that, brother, you know, um, I'm probably getting old before my time, man. Hey, but I'm gonna keep fighting. You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting for their minds. And so my I'm all over the spectrum. On one end, I got a shorty that's looking at 20 years. He allegedly shot at the police, right? Then I got another shorty that just got the Bill Gates scholarship. You know what I'm saying? And so he got his college, his master's, and well, his bachelor's, his master's, and his PhD paid for. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, if I can get shorties to commit, man, you know what I mean? I can reach them. Sometimes they too far gone. You know, so it depends on where who I'm dealing with, the influences they had before they got to me to really speak to their temperament. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you don't know where your seed's gonna go until you break the ground. You know, and after you done broke the ground up, you done tilled it. You done tilled the soil. Sometimes it takes root, sometimes it don't. But that ain't gonna stop me from trying to work with them. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter who they send me. I'm gonna try to work with them. And that's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's at. My fault. I hope I answered the question.
Oh, for sure. So, the of the gang leaders and the leadership, back when you was doing your thing, if those guys to enforce certain order, that it'll still be this wild, or do you think happens, with gang activity? Because it happened the same way in California. Organized, and then it got crazy. Guys got taken off the streets. It's because of being around, or do you think that happens with gang banging or being part of an nation?
Man, let me bag it up a little bit. Let's look at the history of gangs here in Chicago, right? If you was to look at gangs grew out of a bunch of fathers going over to Vietnam, right? So we got a whole bunch of little boys here in Chicago, father that went to Vietnam and they didn't came back. And if you look at the numbers, right, the numbers say that they came back addicted to heroin, addicted to cocaine, or alcoholics, or just not in their right mind, right? So you got all these, fatherless little boys here in Chicago, right? Them fatherless little boys, what they did, they was reacting to police brutality. Where did police brutality grow from, right? After the passage of the Civil Rights Bill, what happened was the police started roaming through neighborhoods and just straight beating people up and putting cases on people. And so, that's what formed street gangs, right? Then if you was to look at the leadership, out of the leadership, we had major figures. These major figures would be the likes of, a David Barksdale, right? Larry Hoover, right? Jeff Ford, right? Willie Lord, you know what I'm saying? All of these guys, right? These guys ended up getting locked up before I hit the street, right? When I hit the street, you know what I'm saying? Now we dealing with Wakita and, and Poteet and, and Larry Hoover still running stuff, you know what I'm saying? But during the late 90s, what happened was the police went around and locked up all of the heads of all of the gangs, all of them. You know what I'm saying? They indicted like maybe, I don't know, I don't even know how many GDs they indicted, but they indicted a lot of them. They indicted a lot of the Stones off of 55th. They indicted a bunch of the BDs from over there off of 69th. A bunch of the, you know what I'm saying, it's in the news right now, the black souls out west. And, you know what I'm saying, the vice lords, right? You know, and speaking of the vice lords, right? You know, the biggest branch of vice lords is the CVLs. What do CVL stand for? Conservative vice lord. Why was they conservative? You know, people have to know who Richard Daley was. Richard Daley was a Democrat. He invented the Democratic machine. He invented it, right? And so that's why they decided, because they was against the mayor and against him, saying this is when Dr. King got assassinated, right? He said on the news, you can look it up. You don't have to take Brother Rob word for it. You can say it on the news. That man said anybody that's rioting, he said shoot to kill on the news. On the news. You know what I'm saying? Very public figure, right? And Chicago was in the spotlight because of the Democratic convention and them saying that he helped Robert Kennedy. I mean, not Robert Kennedy. John F. Kennedy get the presidency and everything. All of these things, because the mob was heavy here in Chicago. All of those things played a huge factor. You know, all of those things played a huge factor. So I backed up to go forward, right? His son, Richard Daley's son, was the mayor when they decided to lock up all of the heads of the gangs. He just finished his father's work. That's all he did. He finished his father's work. Instead of them firing to kill, right? He pretty much single-handedly murdered a bunch of black families by locking up all their daddies. Well, but by you having all of the heads of the gangs locked up, right? It ain't been nothing but the Wild West. Things slowed down for about 5-6 years, and then the next thing you know, it was just the explosion. So people still might be GD, right? But they might be GD under their homie name that got killed. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Silk Gang. You know what I'm saying? We the Go Get It Money Gang. You know what I'm saying? Because that was their homie, you know, nickname or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they still might be GD, but under their homie name, they got killed. You know what I'm saying? So people need to understand, do all them people and stuff in Chicago be getting shot? Yeah, yeah. They really do. You know what I'm saying? They really do be getting shot. But then at the same time, it's a reason in its pockets here in Chicago where it's a lot of murder. Because you can understand, if your homie get killed, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody on the block that was homies with him gonna want to go and kill the dude that got their homie. But of course, they gonna protect their homie on the other side. And so that's how it's perpetual in a way. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just, you know, people just going around shooting people because for the fun of it. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, right? Most of the time it's because they homie killed they homie. And so now they want to go back and kill them, and then they're gonna go back and kill. And so that's how, you know what I'm saying, Chicago ended up being the way that it is. You know what I'm saying? It's other factors that play into it. But you know, I don't want to get super long-winded, but you know, our gang culture then spiraled out of control over the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years, along with our current governor, snatching all of the funding from the programs like ceasefire and things of that nature that were actually facilitating a bunch of sit downs so that, you know, that 5 or 6 years where things slowed down, ceasefire was getting the funding. As soon as he becomes governor, he snatches all of the funding, close all of the mental health institutions. They close 50 schools, you know what I'm saying, and they tear down all of the projects. You combine all of those factors along with gentrification. And yes, this is what you got. Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's happening in everybody else's city too. It's not unique to Chicago. It's just that they, you know, we the prototype, so to speak.
Right. I agree.
Hmm.
Chat saying you still a little choppy. So if you can, bro, you just grab your little headset real quick,
All
a
right.
little clearer. I'm gonna say is that's interesting because a lot of people, it's systematic too. The government too, and I agree. And think that if Chicago get to get control, from a street level to where could just focus on being productive, G, and putting it into something else, um, it'll definitely help us because like Chief Keef, FBG Duck, and all of these people pretty much influence the world.
Oh
They,
yeah.
they world through their music.
Hmm.
Point where now he's in BD's in New York.
Hmm.
Brothers claiming you got brothers claiming they GDs in New York.
Right.
Just it's just not Bloods and Crips no more. Memphis, you got it's all through Memphis. You got like so I see that and y'all culture did the world. And I see if that's on the front line, what you just broke down was there's no more OGs.
Hmm.
That's 25, that's OGs. If they could come, not but if they could just come to an agreement and say, yo, doing this, we gonna focus on doing that. It'll affect the world and for the better. Starting to see a little bit of unity with those guys because um doing music with Lil Durk,
Hmm.
Chief Keef doing songs and different dudes in their videos, and I think they starting to get it. They starting to get it because how much of Chief Keef. Everybody listen to Chief Keef, a Lil Durk. Everybody listen to these people. So I think things could change for the better. Next question to you is I think there's a gun problem because I be watching these videos and these dudes be having military firearms.
Right.
Where from?
Right. You can hear me better, brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the military grade weapons. So we have to understand, right? We have to understand where Chicago is strategically. Chicago, we are in the middle of the United States, literally. Every every major train, freightliner, if you got to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, you must come through Chicago or around Chicago, right? And so because of that, and because of the surrounding states around Illinois have these gun shows and the love of money, people want to make money so bad uh, that they are willing to literally sell guns to anybody. So what we have is a bunch of paper buyers. These are people that go to a gun show. They got a squeaky clean record. They'll go and buy 15 guns and sell all 15. You know, sell all 15. So that's why we got to go. And then the freights, people do hit the freights from time to time. I don't want to give out no addresses to get nobody locked up or nothing. But uh, people hit the freights, and then lo and behold, they hit a freight, and it's a case of, I didn't even know what a AR-15 was, right? Um, a shorty around the crib showed me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even know what it was, bro. Is that? You know what I'm saying? So you right. They do get military grade weapons, and we were shorties, bro. It's a very famous GD set down the street from me. They got their name by killing my homies. They called Killer Ward, right? A bunch of GDs. They found two cases of Tech 9s, you know what I'm saying, with extended clips on them. You know what I'm saying? So to say that it is, coincidental that the GDs found two cases of Tech 9s, no, I think not. You know what I'm saying? I think not. I mean, of course, those guns was given to them, you know what I'm saying, so that they can continue to kill and do whatever else they was going to do with them guns. But yeah, I mean, Indiana, they got very lax gun laws. Indiana right next door, you know what I mean? And people go over to Indiana, go up to Wisconsin, go out to Iowa. They got family from the South, so they literally in Alabama, gearing up, and then come back to Chicago and let motherfuckers have it. I mean, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I hate that, it's like that. I really hate guns. I don't really like guns. You know what I'm saying? Um, I wouldn't suggest anybody, test to see if I got one. You know what I mean? But I just say that, I hate guns. I really do. I'd rather, deal with a man with my hands if I could. You know what I'm saying? Man, I hate that
No doubt.
they say I still sound choppy, still sound the same. But I don't know. It sound crystal clear to me. Damn.
Yeah, they saying you a little choppy, but they could still understand everything you're saying. So hopefully, But my next question is,
Mhm.
could you go into a little bit, little Jeff Fort in the or the Cobwell in the first thing?
Yeah, no doubt. Jeff Ford, right? He came to prominence. You know what I'm saying, in the mid 70s, right? And he started the street gang known as Blackstones, right? And the Blackstones were in opposition to the GDs. That wasn't always the case, though. Um, but him and Larry Hoover had a falling out, and after they fell out or whatever, they went to war. Jeff Fort ended up getting locked up. The first time when he got locked up, the first time, you know, this is when he got, as he called, what I'm saying, civilized. And when he came out, he created uh, a whole new paradigm for Blackstones. You know what I'm saying? And with that paradigm, it was a lot of more science mixed in. You know what I mean? And so, in learning the literature, what you will find out is, what I'm saying, it's a lot of literature that's mixed in. You got uh, you got 5%. You got Islam, and you got more science. All three kind of mixed into the literature, and from there, uh, once he got out the second time, he was really on some growth and development, right? But what happened was he got mixed in with a with a with a guy that was with the FBI, and they was talking about selling him some arms. And once they had the little sit down and they talked about the money on audio recording, that's what got Chief Mali locked up the second time and then moved to Denver. You know what I'm saying? But what the brother did was out freaking standing. At one point in time, right? He had all of the gangs in Chicago all united together for a small period of time. You know what I'm saying? And this was the time uh, uh, when the Black Power movement and the Black Love movement was going on. And I got great respect for Chief Mali. You know what I'm saying? I got great respect for
Yeah, no doubt. Could you do me a favor? A lot of you just drop off and come back on and see if there's a lot of people who say you real choppy.
him. Okay, no problem. No problem. I'm about to drop out and then I'm gonna come back.
Y'all, my bad. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all go for the Rob. Love, man. He out in the trenches in Chicago, man. He in the school system. He man. So y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my brother.
Yo, I'm back. Can you hear me, kid?
Yeah, you much better, much better.
Much better? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, hey, if y'all can hear me clearly in the chat, man, just just throw me a one up real quick. Oh, John Doe say I'm clear, so I know I'm clear if John Doe said. I'm looking at the chat now. All right. So yes, I'm back. I'm clear now. I'm definitely not gonna talk reckless, man. My girl then came upstairs. I told her I'm on the interview. She came up here anyway. Yeah, but I'm ready, fam.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. I'm glad you touched on that because a lot of people don't know where the whole Moorish thing came from. It's interesting that a lot of that information pretty much it touched and it reached a lot of places.
Yes, sir.
Earlier with you, it that stuff pretty on the world and knowledge and trying to build something, trying to build a nation. A lot of people just look at it as, people made up. It actually to like a lot of people don't understand that, wasn't Gangsta Disciple. It was, you know, um he was a black disciple.
No doubt. Like
A lot of
my fault. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just a lot of things that Pink is new or just something that created from crime. It really wasn't. It really was created of our people. You that stuff because was doing to us.
No
Turn
doubt.
around and fathers in the community, leadership out of the homes, in turn made the organizations of the leaders lose control. And I just want to let people understand that. So, Chicago and these street organizations, because empowerment. It wasn't about what we see today.
Man, brother, can just to double down on what you just said, right? Just to double down on what you just said. Um, at one point in time, the most successful community, black community in the country, Chicago. For people who don't know, Supreme Life Insurance that was started here in Chicago. Johnson Publishing. For people, man, do the knowledge, man. Johnson Publishing, Ebony and Jet, that was started here in Chicago, right? Um, we have a district that's called Bronzeville now, but if you was a well-to-do black person, right, and you lived here in Chicago, you lived in Bronzeville. Everybody want those brownstones down there. I mean, I had the opportunity for about 10 years to live on the low end. And me and my family, we lived in one of those brownstones. It was two bathrooms. It was 4 bedrooms. Gigantic front room. You know what I'm saying? It had a fireplace, all of that, you know what I'm saying? And that's right there on the low end on 42nd. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about a couple of blocks away from the lake. You know, this is some of the best property. This is where the Johnson brothers during policy, right? What y'all might call it the lottery now, right? The policy kings that was started here in Chicago. I'm not just bragging because it's my city. I just take pride in the city. You know what I'm saying? Because this is my place of birth, and I mean, man, having that information, it can't do nothing but make you stick your chest out. You know what I'm saying? To know that you had some ancestors who competed with Al Capone. Capone couldn't take the Johnson brothers down. So that should mean something to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you got any pride in your own people, you know what I'm saying? If you got any pride in your own people, do your history on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I say all the time, if you don't know your story, you can't know your glory. You know what I'm saying? You gotta if you not empowering yourself, it's great to know, you know, Dr. King was a good man. But if you can't see yourself walking arm in arm with that brother, you cheating yourself. You cheating yourself. You cheating yourself if you can't see yourself sitting down chopping it up with W.E.B. Du Bois. Like, man, so now that we didn't fake did what you done said and that didn't work out, man, what you think now, Doc? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you can't see yourself sitting down with these people, like, they real people, they not just people in history, and I just think that sometimes we use history to tear other people down, like, your paradigm is messed up because you didn't know this. If we're not using the information to empower ourselves, what the hell are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Why would you need to read all of them books just to tear your brother down? So I don't know. In that regard, I just say that in doing the history on who Jeff Ford really was, right? And who Larry Hoover really was, who David Barksdale really was, right? Where Mickey Cobras come from. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know who Willie Lord is, you cheating yourself. You cheating yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I say. I mean, yeah, do I do a lot of reading and a lot of yeah, I do. I do it so that when my sons ask me a question, I don't have to say I don't know, go look it up. You know what I'm saying? That we can sit down and literally talk about it, you know, and I can have an opinion, you know, that can shape his mind and be a better man, you know. That's what we should be doing with the history, man. Not just knowing a bunch of dates and all of this kind of stuff, but we got to use the history to empower ourselves so that we can empower our children. How you gonna teach them something that you don't know? It's impossible. That's all I'm saying. It's impossible.
Great, man. Great explanation. So now, I ask you, how do you feel, black educator? Do you feel slighted sometimes, tongue sometimes? Students, but it's the infrastructure. Not a lot of black men in the school system, let alone in Chicago. They say, y'all have the highest. Sometimes do you gotta go along to get along? Explain to the people the experience with being a black educator in Chicago.
Well, I can only really speak for myself, and I am currently employed, and it's a possibility my employer might hear this or whatever, but no, I'm joking around. Look, I work for two black men, you know. That's who I work for. I work for, they run the organization. Let me take that back. Organization I work for was founded by two black men, So I go to work empowered every day, brother. you know. And let me just say out loud, right, that if you live in Chicago and your son or daughter end up at the school that I'm at, right, let it be known right now that I ain't gonna bite my tongue or none of that. Like I said before, I'm a man first, and I operate at a principle. I operate at a principle and purpose, right? So if I got something that I need to say, I'm not about to bite my tongue. Hey, I'm gonna do the right thing, and if it's consequences behind that, well, so be it. God damn it, I'm gonna say and do the right thing, irregardless. I don't care nothing about no education system or none of that. I was working for people before I was working in education, right? I was in sales for about 12, well, about 15 years before I got into education, right? Hey, I worked across the street from the underground bookstore on 87th. Dr. Ibrahim was across the street. Me and that man used to chop it up at Truth and Soul Barbershop. This where Muhammad Ali used to get his haircut when he lived here in Chicago. So, man, I always been on that, bro. You know what I'm saying? From the time, what I'm saying, that little light bulb went off in my head and I got my aha moment, as they call it, right? My awakening, as they call it, right? Man, I ain't bit my tongue since. And I don't care I don't care who don't like it. And that's just real talk. Sometimes, and I was saying this to my wife the other day, and I said to anybody who will stand there and take it, right? We gotta be men. We gotta be men. And what do that mean? That mean that if you a man, you gotta be like a pillar. You gotta be like a oak tree, right? When the wind blow, right? You standing. When it's cold outside, you standing. When it's hot as hell, you standing. That's what I'm gonna be, man. I'm gonna be a man, and I'm gonna be a proud black man, self-assured, knowing good and goddamn well that, hey, I might can't save the world, but I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do my part, and I live my life with no fear. That's just what it is. Am I a crazy person to believe that and you gotta chase your destiny, or you live in a life of fear? That's what it is. You gotta chase your destiny, and your destiny ain't get up every morning, go to work, say yes sir, and pay bills. That ain't your destiny. Your destiny should be wrapped up in empowering the next generation of Africans to better our position. Our parents did right. They left the South. They came to these major cities, right? They saved their money. They bought them some houses, and they put us in some communities. And what did we do with it? We fell victim to crack, right? We fell victim to the systems that they put in place for us to fail. So that's why I say we just need a few men to stand up. Once we do that, bro, and going, guess what they gonna do? They gonna change their tactic. But we gotta stand first, bro. Somebody gotta have somebody to lean on. And I feel like, man, we've been waiting on somebody else. All that waiting, bro, and all that waiting, we could have just stood up. We waiting on Barack to come and fix it. Waiting on Jesse to say a speech to empower everybody. Hey, look, that is not gonna happen. We got to get our mind out the clouds and our feet on the ground and be men. That's what we got to do, man. That's what we got to do. So being a black educator in this system, I don't give a damn about the system. I don't even pay attention to that shit. I don't care who's standing there. I'm going to tell them, you are African. And walking around with your hand, sashaying and your pants hanging all off your ass and all your breasts and everything showing and all of that. Hey, that's not African. That's not what we do. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who's standing there. I don't worry about the system, brother. I'm only focused on our kids and what I got to tell them. That's it. And that's real shit.
Powerful. That's powerful, bro. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. And with your confidence, bro, and your vigor, um, led me to this next question. So, who are some of your master teachers?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm heavily influenced by John Henry Clark. If I could meet one person in history and have a conversation with him, it would be John Henry Clark. Um, and then the next person that I would definitely want to have a conversation with would be Dr. Amos Wilson. He is it's overlooked, but I feel like the lessons that he was trying to give us, if we was just to employ some of them, right? Just listen to the wisdom and try to put it into your life. I think that that we would be way better in a way better position. He wrote a book. It's called The Blueprint for Black Power. I don't know what we're waiting on. But the next person that I would say in terms of master teachers would be Dr. Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of the Black Civilization. Once I read it, I felt compelled to read it again. And then, I was so excited about what I had just read. Everybody, and I didn't understand why everybody wasn't so excited as me to learn about the destruction of the Black civilization. If you haven't read that book, you cheating yourself. And then, the next master teacher is Dr. Anthony Martin. Dr. Anthony Martin, I feel like that brother is definitely overlooked. Some people call him Tony Martin, really overlooked. And his work is a book he wrote. It's called The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. When you read that book, of course, a lot of people get thrown off by the title, but if you read the book, you clearly understand how America came to be what it is, and who the major player was. Aaron Lopez. But I don't want to give away the book. I just say that please go and take a look at his work. We got our master teachers that everybody always talk about, Dr. Ben, Marumbi Anai, Francis Cress Westland, John G. Jackson. All of those are people work that I constantly read. I look at a Booker T. Washington. I look at Marcus Garvey. I see what them brothers did, the sacrifices that they made, and that's why I'm always very humble about doing any talking to make it seem like I'm great, because these men sacrificed pretty much everything. And their example is something that we definitely need to follow. But in truth, brother, one man that I can point to in terms of an influence on the way that I carry myself, um, my moral compass, if you will, is my father. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to say, my full government name. I'm Robert Williams Jr. You know, if you ever come to Chicago, I'm gonna have you go over there and meet Robert Sr., right? And anybody who don't have a father in your life, you know what I'm saying? You email me, I email you that man number, right? And what I'm gonna tell you is, when you go to talk to him, don't be on no bullshit. You know what I mean? Because this is a man that you gonna respect if you meet him. If you meet him, you know what I'm saying? He got a head full of gray hair. We call it the crown, you know. And he is the most consistent, the most dedicated, the most loving man I'd ever met in my life, bro. And I ain't just saying that because he my dad. You know what I mean? The man been through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? He never knew his father. So the likelihood of him being a father to me was low. You know what I'm saying? But he stood there, man, and he a pillar to our family. And if I could pattern my life behind anybody, you know, I would want to be like him. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just like, I ain't just saying that because he my dad. You just ain't never met him. If you met him, you would know what I'm talking about. All you have to do is meet him one time, and when you shake your hand with them big old paws, you know, because he a country boy. You may when you shake his hand, you gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Have a conversation with him for a couple of minutes. You gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed, to have him as an example of a man. And I mean, he ain't changed, brother. He ain't changed. He is the same man that he was when I was a little boy to now. You know what I'm saying? I just understand him better because I done matured and got a little wisdom about my foolish self, But yeah, that's what I say. I look to them for history and for methodology on how to do research, but in terms of being a man and how to carry yourself, oh man, I got the greatest example in my father.
Powerful, powerful, bro. Um, a little bit earlier, you was talking about how you used to hang out or stay close to where it was like this bookstore. Um, do you think that we need a resurgence of black bookstores in the neighborhood? Because I noticed everything now is Barnes and Nobles, or you know, you could just go on Amazon and buy a book. But a lot of the books that you was touching on, you can't find in these places. So do you think we need a resurgence of the black bookstore? How important was the black bookstores in Chicago, and do they still exist?
Well, the underground bookstore is still live and well. It's on 87th and Cregia. Right, this is right off of Stony Island on 87. So I'm just giving a plug to my good brother. Go over there and shop with him if you live here in Chicago. Um, in terms of the black bookstore, right? The problem doesn't exist because we don't have bookstores. That's not the problem. The problem is in general, right? I don't want to give a sweeping generalization to all black folks. In general, we don't value intelligence. We don't value education. We don't value it. We aim really low. And the reason being is because a lot of us look at life through European eyes. You know, Europeans say that, you go to college so you can get a good job. But as an African, if you looking at life through your African eyes, you're not going to college to get a good job. You're going to college so that you can create some jobs, so that the owner of the job look like you. Now, how would you go and start a business if you haven't educated yourself? We too busy entertaining ourselves, brother. That's what it really is now. We just got to keep it 100. We too busy entertaining ourselves. you know, on a Friday, fam, you know exactly what it is if it's payday, bro. Man, motherfucker going to the lounge, going to the club, going anywhere but going to hear a lecture from somebody, you know, or Dr. Renoko Rashidi. He was here on December the 2nd, right? There's probably about 20 people in the room. You know what I'm saying? And this Renoko Rashidi. You know what I'm saying? This Renoko Rashidi, it's 20 people in the room. So what we got to do is we have to value intelligence. We have to value education, and then, right, instead of having bookstores, and we got to get ahead of the curve, you familiar with me, brother, when I did the build on the 70-30 rule, and I was telling you how I used to try to mentor some of our business owners here in Chicago, right? We got to get ahead of the curve. So instead of it being a bookstore, right, this is a place where you can come and download an ebook. You know what I'm saying? Prices so that people can keep coming through the door. And then once you got people coming there, then you can invite somebody like saying anybody, saying Dr. Walter Williams, or saying somebody down to the bookstore so that they can talk about their book. You know what I'm saying? You can have somebody like a Dr. Suni Ali or something come in and talk about the social construction of racism and stuff, and feature a book. But that's something that we can do collectively, and we can do that now. You know what I'm saying? We can really do that now. Like if you was to really think about it, right? Like say for instance, we take our little circle, right? And we say to ourselves, okay, who got the lowest cost to open a business in whatever city, right? We all just put our money behind you, DS1, because you in Virginia. The storefront down there is super cheap in Virginia. All right, bet. We just give you a couple of dollars. You open up this, futuristic storefront. It's a coffee shop where the coffee beans come from West Africa and from, South America somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And then they can come in, sip coffee and sip smoothies and buy shea butter and download ebooks. You know what I mean? We open that shit, make it a prototype there, learn our best practices there, and then create a chain. Now, this is what our counterparts, been doing since for the last, 400 years, 500 years. Why we can't just do exactly what they doing and shop with each other exclusively? Uh, this is just the truth, right? We think the white man ice is colder, fam. We think that his products are better than something that we can produce. You know what I'm saying? Man, nigga, there ain't no Michael Kors, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Them ain't no Jordans, nigga. You see what I'm saying? Here it is, your man's, he done bought good t-shirts and then spent all kind of money on ink and printers and everything to put his designs on the shirt, but you won't buy the shirt from him because it don't say Michael Kors. You see? Because it's not Gucci. You see? So that's all. We have to change the way that we view each other. We have to change the way that we view education and intelligence, right? And we have to make that a value, right? But we need some cultural identity. We need some group economics. It's ironic that today is Group Economics Day for Kwanzaa. You know what I'm saying? If you celebrate this type of thing. But you know what I'm saying? That's what it is, bro. We just got to change the way that we look at the world right now. You know what I'm saying? The white man ice is not colder. His books are not, he's not smarter. You know, that don't make us smarter. It's just that we not as dumb as he say we are. That's all. That's all. You know what I'm saying? It don't make us smarter because we African, you know what I'm saying? But we not dumb because we African. You see? We have to change the way that we look at the world so that our businesses can survive. You know, they won't survive by you shopping with Barnes and Noble and coming down to buy the shea butter from the no. We have to be exclusive with the money. And once we exclusive with the money, it don't matter what kind of shop we want to open, whether it's a bookstore or a fruit stand, you know what I'm saying, or a sock stand. You know what I'm saying? All of it is survive as long as we got some cultural identity, some exclusivity with that money. You know what I mean? I'm lying. If we don't do that, you know, come up with, fam. No matter what idea we come up with, it's gonna all fail.
I totally agree, bro. Totally agree. My next question is, do you think it will continue to benefit us as a nation for us to keep going through the same um the same professions? Like, do you think it will benefit us for us to continue to be basketball players, football players,
Ooh.
rappers, actors? Do you
Hey,
still think that will empower us? Because from the looks of things, they're just control opposition basically.
brother, I appreciate that question, brother. Man, that's an excellent question, right? So right? Let me tell you, right? I think practical. I think practical, right? And so in me saying that, the reason why I'm gonna bring up practicality. All right. Number one, I don't care how good your son is. I don't care how good your daughter is. Professional sports. Let's take the NBA for instance, right? And you can do the math. It's 32 teams. 32 teams. Is it 32 or 30 teams? I don't know. Is it 32? I think it's 32 teams. It's only 15 jobs. It's only 15 jobs per team, you know? So probably not a profession you should be going to try to get in terms of in terms of that being real. It's just very, very difficult, right? So when I say practical, the number one thing that we have to do, get ahead of the curve, right? What's the curve? Moving online. I know that everybody noticed that the malls in your city are closing up. That the mall closing, don't you see that? So everything is moving online, right? All we really got to do is find some kids that's willing to move with the curve, right? Teach them coding, teach them programming, right? For our kids that do well in math, hearing, right? The next thing any society is going to need, there is no culture without agriculture. Let me say that one more time. There is no culture without agriculture. We need some people, like we need some chemists. We need some farmers, right? We need some people. Think about it. Plastic, right? Plastic comes from soybeans. Everything you damn near got is made out of plastic. It comes from soybeans. There is no culture without agriculture. How you gonna feed yourself? We everybody's scared about genetically modified food or whatever, right? What if we was growing our own food? That wouldn't be a concern of ours. And if we decided to start growing our own food, right? We're going to compete with the people that got the genetically modified food. Don't you see that every time it's a problem, right? Right? It's profit in problems. Problems. All you have to do is go get locked up. Get too many traffic tickets and see who profit in problems, you know? And so practical. We need more plumbers. We need more plumbers. We need more welders. We need more people that can fix heating and cooling units. These are jobs that you cannot send overseas. That's what I'm talking about. We need people that can put up some aluminum siding. We need somebody that can do roofing. You see? We need somebody that can paint a car. We need that. That's what we need. And so those are the professions that I still to. We need people to go into the medical. We need some doctors. Eventually, you're gonna get sick. Eventually, you are. You're gonna get old. You're gonna get sick. That's a reality. We need more doctors. Do you know it's a shortage of doctors in the United States of America right now? And the reason why it's not a lot of black doctors afford to go to medical school, so they go to nursing school, get their nursing. Could have been a brain surgeon. That's just the literal. That's the literal truth. But once we start dealing in practicality, right, in terms of what you can do today to make some money, and everybody start making some money, guess what's gonna happen? Crime gonna go down. Everything is everything. You know what I mean? If people making money, no need to rob you, fam. No need to sell drugs to you, fam. You see what I mean? So I'm not trying to live a life to where I'm gonna lose what I got. You see? Everything is everything. But the professions that we gotta get ahead of the curve. We gotta get ahead of the curve. But I would say that we should definitely stick with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Everything is math. Everything is math. Everything is math. It is. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of professions that our kids should go in, man, it should be practical. If they not good in math, right? If they not good in math, hey, teach them how to use their hands. Don't shake your head at them. Don't shake your head at them because they can't graph some goddamn, you know what I'm saying, arbitrary ass, math and shit. Don't shake your head at them. Teach them another skill that's practical that we can use tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But that's my answer to the question. I could keep going, but I don't want to, beleaguer the point. I'm just saying out loud that we got to think practical in terms of the professions that we decide to go in. And if your son not gonna be 6'6" by the time he's a senior in high school, please stop pushing them hoop dreams in his head. I coach basketball. I coach basketball. I done sent 11 kids to college hooping. You know what I'm saying? Trust it, right? I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I be honest with my players and honest with my parents. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, at an alternative school, you brother Rob, don't you say you work at an alternative school? How you sending kids to school hooping from alternative school? Go ask them, bro. They'll tell you, bro. They'll tell you. No need to lie. Like I said, I'm be honest. I just wanted to make sure that I clear that up.
Great answer, man. Great answer. Great answer, bro. And I totally agree, man. I totally agree. We definitely have to see, what's coming down the pipeline, and we have to get ahead, man. I totally agree with that. You know, um, out where I live at, out here in C, they pretty much they have the STEM programs in school. So I'm definitely getting both of my sons ready. Both of my sons gonna know how to code and all of that. Because if you love computers, you might as well know how to code it. If you love video games, this is what I tell my oldest son, because he's a gamer. So I so learn how to create your own video games. Learn how to create your own apps, you know, because that's the age that we living in now. Like you said, everything is online. You know, people buying things off of apps. You know, people shop right from their phone now. People don't have to, you don't have to walk in the stores anymore. That's why they're closing a lot of stores. You know, they're closing a lot of Sears, out of these old stores, Macy's, JC Penney's. A lot of them are getting closed down because people are online shopping. So I totally agree, brother. Um, my next question is, and after this question, I'm gonna pretty much start taking questions from the chat. So if y'all got any questions for the brother, um, make sure y'all put it in the chat now. I saw a few questions earlier, but I like to wait to the question and answers part of the show. So please put your questions in the chat and I'll read it to the brother. But my last question to you, brother Rob, is do you think we can get ahead as a nation hating people of another nation?
Wow. Well, that's kind of a loaded question. You know what I mean? But look, brother, hate, right? Like we really need to define what that is, right? It's basically disdain for somebody because of emotion that you have. It's not something that they probably could do or fix. You know what I'm saying? You just hate them because, right? Um, us getting ahead, we got to think about what that's gonna take. And I'll just say this: um, I'm no fool. I know exactly who my enemy is. Um, and so that being said, I stay focused on the things that I need to overcome. Uh, if you notice on YouTube, if somebody got something they want to say ill about Brother Rob, guess what I'm gonna do, fam? Nothing. I'm not gonna say a word to him, bro. So focused on what I gotta do that I don't worry about other people not liking me or they don't agree with the well what I gotta say, and I don't worry about them. You know what I'm saying? Us as a nation, look, it's some things that we need, right, in order to move ahead. Hating somebody else is not one of them. The first thing that we need is cultural identity. Identity. I mess with you because you my brother. I'm not gonna disrespect you because you my sister. Cultural identity. I'ma shop with you and equal because you my brother. If you sell burgers, you and McDonald's, I'ma choose you, brother, as long as your shop clean the burgers. You know what I'm saying? With McDonald's just because they sell burgers. You don't make good burgers, right? And it's a choice between you and McDonald's. That you don't make good burgers. Guess what I'm gonna do, fam? I'm gonna go home. I'm not going to empower McDonald's. They got enough people showing up eating that poison. You know what I'm saying? They got enough. They don't need me. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that I do individually. You know, we got to do it individually and then collectively. Uh, we got to have some cultural identity. Next thing, right? We got to take, man, we got to take our pride and ego out of this, right? Our desires must be in line if your goal is for black people to be further than what they are right now, you know what I'm saying, so that your kids can benefit from your sacrifice, right? Then you gonna agree with what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I live my life. My kids gotta benefit from this sacrifice. So am I balling out of control over here? I ain't balling out of control. But if I needed to get on a plane and fly to Virginia tonight, nigga, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I got days at work, you know what I'm saying, that I could take off, and I got a couple of dollars in the bank to where I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have sad pieces, and I'm not going to buy bottles every weekend and $300 belts. You see what I'm saying? My desires are in line with my goals. You know what I'm saying? So I can only speak for myself and saying what my sacrifice is, and I'm just modeling the behavior that I think is necessary, right? But in general, you know what I'm saying, if I was to give an answer straight up, no, hating somebody else is not going to help us. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, we need to know who our enemy is, and we need to know what the hell that they doing so that we can circumvent that. But I move with purpose. You know what I'm saying? I move with principle. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not just gonna be sitting around here hating somebody. I'm too busy working. You know what I'm saying? I'm too busy trying to be a better person to be hating them. The most that I do is ignore their ass. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. You know what I'm saying? That's about as much energy as they gonna get from me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't pay any attention to them. I love our people. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that I hate somebody else. I hate what happened to our people. I hate that shit. You know what I'm saying? When I look back in history, yeah, it make me bite my lip. You know what I'm saying? Looking at what happened to our people, and then, you know, people being arrogant about it, or just being complicit about it. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, shit, it happened. You know what I'm saying? No, no. You gonna be a little more humble in my presence. You ain't gonna say shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If I'm standing in your presence. You know what I mean? And if they do, you know what I'm saying, I get them right back in line. Of hatred is because I feel like they not being humble in the position that they played, you know what I'm saying, in the role of the downfall of our people and all of the things that continue to combat our people. You know what I'm saying? But I love black people. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that I hate anybody else. That just mean that I love our people. And I love us, you know what I'm saying, to the point where I love you past your faults. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a perfect man. And I hope that my faults can be overlooked in terms of you know, me not being judged to the point where, you know what I'm saying, I can't do the work for our people. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay humble, you know what I'm saying? And I just say that I love our people. But that don't automatically make me hate anybody else.
Man, great explanation, bro, and I totally agree. I totally agree.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take some questions from the chat now. We got a
Okay.
few questions. Chef JT asks, "Is the Nation of Islam in Chicago? Does they have a strong relationship with our community? Do they have a strong relationship with the community in Chicago? The Nation of Islam."
Man, no doubt. No doubt. Hey, Farrakhan, that man always working. Let me tell y'all something. Anybody that be talking shit about the minister, let me explain something to you. That man sacrifice and do more work under the radar than anybody I can think of right now. You know what I'm saying? The man, he tirelessly work. And the Nation of Islam, they go knocking door to door, asking people to join arm in arm with them. They ain't asking them, hey, come and be a Muslim. They saying, join arm in arm with me so that we can stop all of this senseless killing in our communities. You know what I'm saying? Um, in terms of it being a strong relationship, hey, some people fall victim to propaganda. And so they'll never be able to look at our good brother, you know what I'm saying, the Minister Louis Farrakhan as an ally because of a belief system. You know, well, he don't follow this, so I can't follow that. You know, all of that old crazy ass talk. You know what I'm saying? So it would be a stronger relationship if it wasn't for that propaganda and how simple minded some people are when it comes to the minister and the Nation of Islam. The Fruit of Islam, they work tirelessly here in Chicago. So I would say, yes, they got a strong relationship with the people who are willing to accept they help, accept their friendship. You know what I'm saying? They don't go out and make no enemies. But you got to understand, though, if you ever disrespect one of the sisters from the Nation of Islam, you got a major problem. Like that ain't gonna play too nice. You know what I'm saying? One of the brothers, he'll take care of himself. But one of the sisters, you mess with one of them sisters, oh man, it ain't gonna go too good for him. I mean, that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? But yes, I feel like the Nation of Islam, they got a strong relationship with the community here in Chicago.
No doubt, no doubt. He also asked, um, is the political system there in Chicago, is it segregated?
Hey, you know, like I was saying earlier, right? The democratic machine or a political machine, it was created by Richard Daley. Yes, and it is very segregated. It is very, Chicago might be one of the most segregated cities, not in the country, but in the world. In the world. We got Germantown, Greektown. Um, you know, the Mexicans, they live in Pilsen. You know what I'm saying? The Puerto Ricans live in Humboldt Park. Uh, you know, white folks live in Waker Park. You know what I'm saying? We got a Polish community. We got, I mean, you see what I'm saying? And it is all divided by ethnic lines. You know, the black community is primarily on the west side, south side, and east side of Chicago. That's not to say that it ain't, you know, black people on the north side, you know, or in the suburbs, you know what I mean? But, you know, primarily that's where we are. And you know, when I talk about politics, politics to me is the business of spending our tax money. You know, that's what politics is. It is the business of spending our tax money. Gated? Yes, yes. So I'll give you an example. There's a school here in Chicago, right? They pay about 22,000, roughly 23,000 per student to go to this school, right? Well, your average neighborhood school here in Chicago, right? They get about $13,000 per student. Segregated? Oh yes, very segregated. And on top of that, information. That's not nothing that Brother Rob is saying to make white folks in Chicago look bad. That is a decision that they made in a room that I wasn't privy to the conversation, right? But that's how the funding ended up happening. How did that happen, Brother Rob? They use a funding system. If your property taxes, you know, are ever so much, then you know what I'm saying, more money go to the schools that got higher property taxes. You see, you know, who get higher property taxes or pay the lion's share. They homes they value way higher. Well, who get to determine that? The people down there in City Hall. His name is Jerry Barrios. He was just in the newspaper the other day for being under the gun or being under scrutiny for valuing homes in the white community that's the same size, same square footage as homes in the black community. Why are those homes value higher, Mr. Barrios? Well, I guess he gonna answer when he get to court. But yes, it's very segregated. This gotta be the most segregated city in the world, if not the country.
Wow. Wow. Never knew that, bro.
Yes, sir.
Um, Another question come from Doug. He's asking, I'm gonna read his question again. He says, did you have any plans to do a Chicago part two? I'm not sure what he mean, but he said, you said that you might do a follow-up.
Yeah, yeah. A little while ago, I had did a bill, and I titled it "How Did Chicago Get So Fucked Up?" Right, and what I tried to do was break down historically how Chicago, how Black Chicago got in the position that we were in, and I definitely need to do a follow up. I'm just waiting for this next governor's race to take place next year. Bruce Rauner put the state in a very bad position, and um, I want to see what's going to happen after this election. Um, and then after that and a couple of other things need to happen. I'm gonna definitely do a follow-up to how Chicago got so fucked up. There are a number of factors. I tried my best to highlight the ones that I thought were most impactful. um, but I feel like I definitely need to do a follow-up because I could get way more detail with some of the points. Some of the points I had to skim over for time because I figured, ain't nobody about to sit here and listen to me in Chicago for 4 hours. So I would just sit there, bring out all of the major points, touch on them, and then move to the next point. And I was hoping that the listening public would do a little back research so that they could see, brother Rob ain't just pulling shit out his ass like, oh, this shit really happened here in Chicago. Damn, you know what I'm saying? I need to do more research on Chicago. I'm trying to tell you subject for the government in terms of the way that they attack black people. You know what I'm saying? They detect. We like to test subject. If you notice, after Fred Hampton gets assassinated, then this when they attack the brothers in NY and in Cali. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one example. But we like to test subject in a way. You know what I'm saying? So if you learn more about Chicago and what they doing right now, oh, believe me, you and me is coming to your city too, fam.
Thanks a lot, brother Rob. Um, I don't see any more questions. Um, you know, I appreciate it, brother. This was a great interview. I definitely, you know, definitely excited. You gave a lot of information. You know, I'm definitely enlightened a lot more on Chicago and who you are as a good brother. We pretty much built before, so we pretty much know. But now a lot more people can understand who you are and that you're a very important voice here on this platform, man. I'll always, you always welcome. We always welcome to do shows together. I would love to come to your platform and do the same thing. Um, like I said, man, I love this interview, man. So it's just you like an information station, bro.
Damn. Well, I'm
No,
humbled
man.
by that, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. I love having conversations with you, bro. It never gets out of hand. And it's always a great build, man. So I appreciate you for coming tonight, staying this long, and sharing your wisdom with Sheep Stay Sleep TV and my audience, man. I really want to thank you, brother.
All right. Well, man, thanks for having me, man. I just after listening to like I was telling you earlier, after listening to the interview you had did with our good brother JT, man, I just felt like I felt like I knew that brother a lot better after listening to the interview, and so that's what compelled me to reach out and email you, so that I can get on here and kind of introduce myself to maybe a few more people that that I ain't never met before or talked to or chopped it up with. But man, I just want to say peace to everybody that was listening. Um, I might have me and you might have difference of opinion, but that's what it is. It's a difference of opinion. I don't hate nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a brother that deep disagreements with on YouTube in terms of information about the history of our people, right? But in no way, shape, or form do I wish that brother any ill will. You know what I'm saying? We got to use this information, right, to empower one another. You know what I'm saying? And by me agreeing with you more, that's not going to empower us. What's going to empower us is the ability for our sons to not have to go look for a job because they're going to inherit a business. What's going to empower us, right, is me and you both telling our sons that we got to respect black women, and black women are the most beautiful women in the world. And man, don't you want your kids to grow up to look like you? And don't you understand that, man, that melanin you got, man, it make you special. And you know what I'm saying? Like, man, if we all sharing a mental mind together and got this cultural identity and can use YouTube people who got like minds, man, we could change the world, fam. We really could. I believe in that, man. I'm an optimist. You know what I'm saying? That might just be the coach in me. You know what I'm saying? But I always think I can win. You know what I'm saying? I don't even use the L word. You know what I'm saying? I don't even use the ill word, bro. I always think I can win. And I always think I can overcome. There's nothing that can just straight up defeat me. All man, just throw my hands up. So that's the type of brother that you deal with when you're dealing with me. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of dude I am, man. You come to Chicago, bro, I talk the same way all the time. I'm the same dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same dude. Anybody that know me, bro, know that this is how I talk all the time. Yes, I do say fam that much. Yes, I do say G sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Chicago. I do say what's up, Joe, sometimes. I'm from Chicago. I'm a real dude. You know what I'm saying? I just try my best to be authentic, and I try my best when I'm sharing information to be humble because I don't know it all. How I'm gonna teach you if I know it all? Learn nothing else. You see what I'm saying? If your teacher can't learn nothing else, go find you another teacher. You know what I mean? That's just, man, them just facts, you know? But man, I appreciate you having me, brother. You know what I'm saying? I always feel welcome when I get on your platform. And for everybody that was listening, man, I appreciate it. Um, I didn't even look at the chat or whatever, but man, I appreciate y'all listening, man.
No doubt, bro. No doubt. It's always a pleasure, bro. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you just coming in, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my brother Rob channel. Make sure y'all go subscribe. I'll put the link to his channel in the description when this video get put up. But make sure y'all go subscribe to the brother. Because he's starting to do live streams and stuff like that too. He actually had a great bill with another educator on his channel maybe a week ago. Make sure y'all go check that out. Show the brother some love. Like I said, shout out to y'all again for coming through tonight and listening to the show. Another successful interview. Like I said, I want to thank you again, brother Rob. Um, peace to you and your family. Much love and respect to you, brother. And you have a good night, bro.
Man, you do the same, good brother. It's all love, man. Respect to DS1 and the Alliance.
No doubt, man. So I'm your host, DS1 Ross. Shout out to the Alliance, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Make sure y'all go subscribe, all future notifications. And if you want to be interviewed, email me, dsalliance1@gmail.com. dsalliance1@gmail.com. Thank y'all for tuning in again. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the Brother Rob. Stay tuned for the next one, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace.